expecting it, sir?" The word "sir" does something to him. He leans forward. His breath smells like coffee and anger. "Don't call me that," he snaps. "Just do your job." A woman in line looks away. A teenager checks his phone. No one speaks. Nia presses a key. The screen flickers. The man laughs. Loud. "See," he says. "This is why they shouldn't put people like you up here." Nia feels the heat rise in her neck. She swallows. "What do you mean?" she asks. He points at her name tag. "I mean, I don't trust someone like you with money." The word "you" lands heavy. The manager's office door stays closed. The man's voice gets lower. "You mess this up and I'll make sure you're fired." Nia finally looks at him. Her eyes are calm. Too calm. "Sir," she says quietly, "please step back." He smiles. "It's thin. Mean. Or what?" Pause. The register locks. A red message flashes across the screen. "Account access restricted." The man's smile fades. "What did you just do?" he asks. Nia doesn't answer. She presses the call button under the counter. And the store speaker clicks on. Nia stands behind register 3. The mat under her feet is thin. It doesn't help much. Her shift started 3 hours ago. 2 more to go. She scans items. Bread. Milk. Apples. Beep. Beep. She feels eyes on her. Not everyone. Just enough. A man near the freezer aisle watches her too long. A woman clutches her purse when Nia smiles. Small things. Always small. She tells herself to breathe. The store smells like plastic and fruit. Her name tag feels heavier today. Nia. She adjusts it and keeps scanning. "Morning," she says. Most people don't answer. That's fine. She's used to silence. Then the man arrives. He drops his basket on the counter like it owes him money. "About time," he says. Nia nods. "I can help you here." He doesn't move closer. He stands back, arms crossed. She reaches for the first item. "You trained for this?" he asks. "Yes, sir." He laughs. "Figures." She pauses. "Just for a second. Did you find everything you needed?" He leans forward. "I said, did you train for this? Or did they just hand you the register?" A couple behind him shift uncomfortably. Nia feels her chest tighten. "I completed the same training as everyone else," she says. He smirks. "Sure you did." She scans the item. Beep. It doesn't register. She scans again. Beep. The screen flashes yellow. She fixes it quickly. Muscle memory. The man shakes his head. "Unbelievable." She looks up. "Sir, please don't." He cuts her off. "Don't tell me what to do." His voice is loud now. Too loud. "I'm a paying customer." Nia sees the manager through the glass office wall. He looks away. She swallows. "I just need you to lower your voice." The man steps closer. "You nervous?" "No. You should be." Her hands stay flat on the counter. She feels her pulse in her wrists. The woman behind him whispers, "Sir, please?" He turns. "Mind your business." Silence again. The kind that protects the wrong person. Nia presses a key. The register pauses. She feels the shift. The air changes. The man notices. "What did you do?" "Nothing," she says. The screen blinks red. Access delayed. The man laughs again, but it sounds forced. "You messing with my money now?" "I'm following protocol." He leans in. "You people always say that." There it is. Not loud. Not explicit. But sharp. Nia feels it land. She thinks of her dad. His calm voice. "Let the numbers speak." She presses another key. The system freezes. The man's face changes. "What is this?" Nia keeps her voice steady. "One moment, sir." He slams his hand on the counter. "I don't have a moment." The manager finally steps out. "What seems to be the problem?" The man points at Nia. She doesn't know what she's doing. The manager looks at Nia. Not the screen. Not the man. "Nia, maybe step aside." That hurts more than the shouting. She nods slowly. As she steps back, the screen flashes again. A quiet alert. Transaction flagged. The manager freezes. The man frowns. "What does that mean?" Nia looks at the screen. Then at him. "It means," she says softly, "we need to check something." The store speaker clicks on. And somewhere in the system, a deeper process begins. The speaker clicks off. The store doesn't return to normal. It never does. The manager clears his throat. His name tag reads Mark. The letters are crooked. "What's going on here?" he asks. The man doesn't hesitate. "She froze the register," he says. "And she's got an attitude." Mark looks at Nia. Not at the screen. Not at the alert. Just her. Nia, he says carefully, did you do something you weren't supposed to? The question stings. Nia keeps her shoulders straight. I followed protocol, she says. The man laughs. There it is again, he says. That tone. Nia turns to him. My tone is calm, she says. Yours is not. Oh, don't do that, he snaps. Don't play smart. A few customers step back. One woman pulls her cart closer to her chest. Mark rubs his hands together. Sir, he says to the man, maybe we can all just lower our voices. The man scoffs. I'm not the one causing problems. He points at Nia. She is. Nia feels her jaw tighten. She doesn't respond. Silence stretches. Mark sighs. Nia, he says quieter now, why don't you step away for a minute? There it is. The same move. Every time. The problem isn't the shouting. It's her presence. She looks at him. Why? She asks. Mark avoids her eyes. Let's just de-escalate. The word lands wrong. The man grins. Yeah, he says. De-escalate her. Nia takes a breath. She steps back from the register. Slowly. Deliberately. The screen stays red. The alert doesn't disappear. Mark notices. What's that message? He asks. Nia answers without looking at him. It's an internal flag. The man's grin fades. Flag for what? Unusual activity, she says. He snorts. That's ridiculous. Mark shifts his weight. Nia, he says, did you call this in? No. Then who did? Nia meets his eyes. The system. The man's voice sharpens. So now the computer's racist too? A few people laugh. Nervously. Nia feels the pressure building behind her eyes. She keeps her voice even. Sir, please don't joke about that. Oh, I'll joke about whatever I want. He steps closer to her. Too close. You don't scare me, he says. Nia doesn't move. I'm not trying to, she says. Mark steps between them. Okay, he says quickly. That's enough. He turns to Nia again. Why don't you go take a break? Her heart drops. Mark, she says, I didn't do anything wrong. He lowers his voice. I know, he says. But let's not make this worse. For who? She thinks. The man claps once. See, he says. Even your boss knows. Nia feels heat flood her face. She looks around. No one says anything. A man in line stares at the floor. A woman bites her lip. Silence again. Protective. Heavy. Mark gestures toward the back. Just 5 minutes, he says. I'll handle this. Nia doesn't move. What happens to the alert? She asks. Mark hesitates. I'll clear it. The words hit her like a slap. You can't, she says. The man laughs loud. Watch him. Mark frowns. Nia, he warns, you're not helping. She takes a step forward. Clearing it without review is a violation. The store goes quiet. Mark's eyes widen. Excuse me? She speaks slowly. It requires documentation. The man shakes his head. Listen to her, he says. Thinks she runs the place. Nia feels the edge now. The moment where silence stops protecting you. Mark leans in close. You're a cashier, he whispers. Act like it. That hurts the most. Nia straightens. Her voice is calm. Flat. Then act like a manager. Mark pulls back, stunned. The man explodes. Who do you think you are? Nia looks at him. Then at the screen. Then back at Mark. I'm someone who knows, she says. That alert didn't trigger by accident. The man's face tightens. What are you accusing me of? Nothing, she says. Yet. Mark exhales hard. That's it, he says. I'm calling security. The man smiles again. Good. Nia feels a chill run down her spine. Security usually doesn't come for people like him. They come for people like her. The radio on Mark's belt crackles. Front end needs assistance, he says. The man leans toward Nia one last time. You should have kept your mouth shut. Nia watches the red alert blink again. This time a second line appears beneath it. Pattern detected. Her stomach drops. Because now it's bigger than the store. And it's not going away. The alert on the screen blinks steadily. Red. Insistent. Nia's hands hover over the register. She doesn't touch it. The man's gaze lingers sharp. You really think that computer has my back? He asks. I'm not thinking about you, Nia says evenly. He laughs. Oh, cool. Figures. People like you always play the quiet one. The words hang. He doesn't even need to shout. Everyone in line feels it. The subtle edge of hate. Nia takes a breath. People like me. She knows what he means. She's heard it in boardrooms, classrooms, everywhere she's ever tried to prove herself. You mean me personally or my skin? She asks. The man's smirk falters. Both, he mutters. The customers shift. A mother covers her child's eyes. Nia's chest tightens. Mark fidgets behind her. His tie is crooked. His hands flutter like birds trapped in a cage. You should step aside, he whispers. I will not, Nia says. Her voice is quiet but firm. You don't know who you're messing with, the man says. His eyes dart to the red alert. Nia glances at it. It's not just a number. It's a pattern. Months of transactions flagged. Discrepancies. Fraud. And he's part of it. Her pulse quickens but she remains calm. Sir, she says, if you keep interrupting I will have to call for an audit. The man laughs again. This time it's forced. Nervous. An audit? Against me? You can't. She meets his eyes. Steady. Controlled. The numbers don't lie, she says. A clerk in the back whispers, you really can't say that to him. I can, Nia thinks. I must. The man leans closer, pointing a finger at her. You're one of those people who thinks rules apply to you, aren't you? I follow them, she replies. He scoffs. Rules? Rules are for people like you. The line freezes. Every customer feels it. That quiet, invisible punch of bias. Nia swallows. The air feels thick, like it's pressing against her chest. Her mind races. She remembers the complaint last year, a black employee accused of mishandling money. Fired. Humiliated. She wasn't there. But she knows the memory lingers in the system, in management, in customers like him. You know, he says, leaning on the counter, I could have you fired right now. No one would blink. Nia's fingers tap the counter lightly. She doesn't flinch. Go ahead, she says softly. But the system keeps every transaction, every complaint, every action, including yours. His jaw tightens. The red alert on the screen blinks again. Nia watches it carefully. Mark clears his throat. Sir, maybe you should. I don't need lessons from him, the man snaps. He glances around. The customers. The clerks. He smirks, but it doesn't reach his eyes. People like you, he says again, shaking his head. Always thinking you're smart. The words sting. But Nia doesn't respond verbally. She lets her eyes speak. Come. Unwavering. The alert flashes another line. A pattern emerging. Months of discrepancies, repeated complaints. Fraud. And he's at the center. The man notices it too. His smirk falters. What is that? He demands. Your transactions, Nia says. They're being reviewed. He laughs nervously. I don't need a review. I'm a customer. She leans closer just enough. Her voice low, precise. You've been under review before, she says. Corporate noticed it. Just didn't act. Until now. The man freezes. His bravado slips. You can't do this, he says. I don't have to, Nia says. The numbers will. Mark shifts nervously. The employees glance at one another. The line murmurs. Tension vibrates through the air. The man's finger jabs at the register. You think this makes you powerful? I know it does, she says softly. He laughs again, high-pitched, forced. But the red alert continues to flash. A clerk whispers, she's calling corporate? Nia doesn't answer. She doesn't have to. The message is clear. The man turns to leave, muttering under his breath. Nia watches him. Calm poised. She lets him go, for now. The store returns to a tense quiet. But she knows it won't last. Because someone like him doesn't back down. And the next move will decide everything. The red alert on the screen blinks again. Multiple discrepancies detected. Her stomach tightens. It's bigger than one customer now. And it's about to explode. The alert doesn't stop blinking. Red. Persistent. Nia stares at it. Her hands hover above the register. She's calm. But inside a storm is building. Mark paces behind her, muttering into his tie. I don't know what to do, he says. The man in front leans on the counter, smirking. Looks like your computer's broken again. Nia doesn't look at him. She watches the numbers. Months of transactions, returns, refunds, flagged in a sequence only someone trained would recognize. Her pulse quickens. Not from fear but focus. Sir, she says, quiet, controlled, the system isn't broken. It's alerting us to patterns. The man laughs low and sharp. Patterns? Really? What are you accusing me of now? Nia glances at Mark. His hands twitch. I'm not accusing anyone, she says. I'm pointing out data that doesn't match. The line grows tense. Customers shift uncomfortably. A mother pulls her child closer. A teenager drops his earbuds. The air feels heavier. Because this isn't about groceries. This is about scrutiny. Control. Who has power, and who doesn't? Mark fidgets. Nia, maybe just clear it. I don't want corporate looking at this. Nia turns slowly. Come. Steady. Mark, she says, clearing it now would be a violation. The man snorts. Oh, come on. You're just trying to make me look bad. No, Nia says softly, the numbers speak for themselves. He leans closer, his breath hot. You people always think you're in charge. But you're not. Nia's jaw tightens. She remembers every time someone whispered the same thing in boardrooms, classrooms, offices. You don't belong here. You're not qualified. Her hands move with practiced precision. She pulls up the flag transactions. Refunds. Returns. Adjustments. Every one traced. And yes, he's in the middle of them all. Look, she says, pointing at the screen, every unusual refund this month comes from your account. Corporate will notice. The man freezes. Mark blinks. He has no words. You're lying, the man spits suddenly loud. I don't lie, Nia says, soft, precise. The numbers are public. Verifiable. He laughs nervously. No one cares. No one will check. Someone always checks, she says. The line grows silent. Tension coils. Mark steps forward. Sir, maybe you should. Maybe I should what? The man yells. You going to fire me? Arrest me? Nia stays calm. She knows the stakes. One false move and corporate could blame her. 1 second of weakness and he'll use it. She presses another key. The system generates a small report. Corporate flagged. Internal audit notice. Copy saved. Time stamped. Unchangeable. The man's face drains. You're insane, he mutters. No, she says. I'm prepared. And the numbers don't lie. Mark exhales. Relief. Tension easing. But Nia knows it isn't over. The man mutters under his breath and storms toward the exit. A few customers glance at Nia. Some nod subtly. Others avert their eyes. But even as he leaves, the red alert continues blinking. New patterns detected. Repeated discrepancies. Months of fraudulent activity. All linked to him. Nia swallows. Corporate will notice. Security will intervene. Justice will arrive, but not before she feels the weight of every silent stare, every whispered doubt, every moment she was underestimated. The phone on the counter rings. Mark answers quickly, nodding. Yes, she's correct, we've documented it. Nia hears snippets, internal audit, multiple discrepancies, immediate review, corporate. She steps back, arms folded. Calm, controlled. The man is gone, but his presence lingers. The psychological pressure. The audacity. And now the consequences begin. The red alert flashes again. This time, the system generates a new line. Corporate escalation initiated. Mark looks at her wide-eyed. He's going to hear about this, he says softly. Nia nods. Not triumphant. Not smug. Focused. Because even now, there's more tension to handle. More authority to confront. More exposure to navigate. And she knows that every calm moment, every silent pause, every controlled breath has led her here. The man doesn't know it yet, but he's being watched. And Nia will ensure the numbers speak louder than his words ever could. Corporate escalation is underway. And he will answer. The man storms back in 2 days later. Same store. Same aisle. Same arrogance. He doesn't see Nia at first. He assumes she's just a cashier, just another worker behind a counter. Someone to underestimate. Where's the girl from last time? He demands. Mark fidgets behind the counter. She's here. On shift. The man smirks. Finally. Let's see if she's as helpless as she looks. Nia watches silently. Calm, poised. Her eyes never waver. You again, she says, soft but sharp. He laughs, leaning on the counter. I see you're still, pretending. Pretending what? She asks. In charge? Important? Nia tilts her head. A subtle smile crosses her lips. Not cruel. Not mocking. Confident. You don't know me, she says. He laughs louder this time. I think I do. You're just a cashier who thinks she's smart. Her hands hover over the register. She doesn't touch it yet. She watches him. Observes. Every shift. Every habit. Every slight. He says, I've dealt with people like you before. Always a show, always some excuse. Nia leans slightly closer. People like me? Yes. People who think they matter. Who think they can hide behind rules and systems. Who think... She interrupts. Who think they're invisible? He freezes. Then smirks again. Exactly. Nia's fingers tap lightly on the counter. Calm measured. She steps closer. The red alert blinks on the screen. Corporate escalation ongoing. You're not invisible, she says. You're just not paying attention. The man narrows his eyes. What do you mean? I mean, she says, I know who you are. Every transaction. Every refund. Every complaint you filed. Every attempt to manipulate the system. His smirk wavers. He glances around as if realizing the line of customers is watching. Some whisper. Others stare silently. The psychological pressure mounts. You can't prove that, he says, voice rising. Nia tilts her head slightly. Come. Steady. The system proves it. And yes, corporate has been watching. He laughs, nervous, short, forced. This is impossible. You're lying. I'm not, she says. I'm authorized. And everything you've done is documented. Mark fidgets. He swallows hard. Sir, maybe you should step back. Step back, the man shouts. Step back from what? From being accused. Nia presses another key. The screen generates a full report. Every discrepancy, every fraudulent refund, every irregular complaint, all time-stamped, all linked to him. The man stares. His face drains of color. His arrogance falters. You can't, he mutters. I don't need to, Nia says softly. The numbers do it for me. Mark exhales, relieved. He looks at Nia with a mix of awe and apology. The customers murmur. Some nod in quiet approval. Others gape, stunned. The man turns toward the exit, fuming. This isn't over, he says. You'll see. Nia watches him leave. Calm, poised. Not triumphant, but resolute. The red alert continues blinking. Corporate escalation is still active. Her stomach tightens. This is only the beginning. Because now the store isn't the only stage. Corporate, security, legal departments. They're all watching. And he, the man who thought he held all the power, is now exposed. Nia returns to the register. Fingers hover above the scanner. Controlled. She thinks briefly of every time she's been underestimated. Every whispered doubt. Every invisible hand holding her down. Not anymore. Not now. And the system she manages ensures it. The next move is his, but he won't be ready. The red alert blinks again. This time a note appears. Immediate internal review required. Mark whispers to her, almost in awe. You really are the accountant? Nia meets his eyes, calm, unwavering. Yes, she says. The man doesn't know it yet. But soon everyone will. The tension doesn't dissipate. It thickens. And the consequences are only just beginning. The corporate email pinged mid-morning. Nia saw it before anyone else. Internal review initiated. Multiple flagged discrepancies. Immediate attention required. Her heart didn't race. Her pulse didn't spike. She had prepared for this moment. Patterns. Months of numbers, repeated mistakes, every refund, every complaint, every tiny inconsistency, all pointing to him. She leaned back slightly, watching the store floor. The man hadn't returned yet, but the tension lingered like smoke. Mark hovered nearby, glancing at the screen nervously. They're serious, he said. Corporate, they're not going to ignore this. I know, Nia said. They won't. Not this time. A clerk approached, whispering, Do they know it's him? Nia nodded subtly. Yes, and they're tracking it. The man walked in 2 hours later. Same smug grin. Same arrogance. Same assumption of untouchable power. Morning, he said. Still scanning, I see. Good morning, Nia replied. Calm, poised. He leaned on the counter. I don't know why everyone's making such a fuss. Everything's fine. She tapped a key on the register. A report printed automatically. A summary of flagged transactions over the past 6 months. His eyes flicked to it. What's this? Your transactions, Nia said softly. Every unusual refund. Every complaint. Every attempt to manipulate the system. Patterns emerge. He scoffed. Patterns? You mean coincidences? Nia shook her head slightly. Not coincidences. Repetition. Predictable behavior. Documented evidence. The line grew quiet. Customers glanced around. The weight of authority shifted in the room. "Come on," he said. "You think this computer can prove anything?" "I don't need to think," Nia said. "The system already knows. And corporate has been notified." He narrowed his eyes. "You're bluffing." "I'm not," she said. "Come. Precise." Mark whispered almost to himself. "I never realized." Nia ignored him. Her attention was on the man, on the system, on the patterns. The red alert blinked again. New anomalies appeared. This wasn't just one incident. It was a trail months long. The man's voice shook slightly now. This can't be right." "It's right," she said. "And it's consistent, predictable, verifiable." He swallowed hard. The room held its breath. A customer whispered, "He's going to lose it." "I think he already has," Nia thought. The man's finger jabbed at the screen. "You think you've got me trapped?" "I don't think," she said. "I know." Another report printed automatically. The evidence grew. Each page another thread in the web he couldn't escape. He laughed nervously. "This is ridiculous. No one will believe." "You don't get to decide who believes," Nia interrupted. "Corporate does. Security does. And the system does." Mark swallowed hard, looking at Nia with a mix of awe and fear. He's going to be furious." The man turned, storming toward the exit. But Nia pressed another key. Security notification. Corporate escalation. Internal audit flagged as urgent. He stopped mid-step. His smirk faltered. "Watch," she said softly. "Patterns don't lie. People do." The red alert flashed again. Multiple anomalies, repeated behavior, all pointing to him. The man's shoulders slumped slightly. He muttered under his breath. "This isn't over." "It is," Nia said calmly. Mark looked at her. You really are the accountant." "Yes," she said. "Calm, controlled, unshakable." The man's exit was hurried, angry, frustrated. But Nia didn't smile. She didn't gloat. The tension remained. The consequences were only beginning. Corporate had been alerted. Security had been notified. Internal review was underway. And the patterns? They didn't lie. He returned 2 days later. This time he didn't just stroll in. He stormed, face red, fists clenched. "You!" he yelled, pointing at Nia. His voice carried across the store. Customers flinched. Children hid behind carts. Nia looked up calmly. Her fingers rested lightly on the counter. She didn't flinch, didn't raise her voice, just met his eyes. "You again?" she said softly. "Say it again," he shouted. "Say that you think I'm under investigation." "I didn't say that," she replied. Calm, precise. "Yes, you did," he snapped. "You and your little computer." "I said the numbers are accurate," she corrected. "And yes, they show discrepancies in your account. Corporate has been notified. Security is aware. The internal audit has flagged multiple patterns." He froze for a second, then sneered. "You're bluffing. There's no proof." Nia leaned slightly forward, her eyes steady. "The proof is in the system. Every transaction, every adjustment, every complaint you've filed, every refund, all documented, all time-stamped." He blinked. That smirk vanished. Customers whispered to one another. "You can't do this," he shouted, shaking his finger. "I'm a customer. You have no right." "Sir," she said quietly, controlled, "the system does. Corporate does. Security does. And yes, the numbers don't lie." Mark hovered behind her. His hands trembled slightly. "Nia, maybe." "Do not interfere," she said softly, calm authority in her voice. The man's face twisted with frustration. "This is ridiculous. I pay for this store. I demand you explain yourself." "I am explaining," she said. "Every report, every anomaly, every pattern, everything is here." She tapped the screen. "Corporate will review this. Security will review this. And the internal audit is ongoing. The evidence is clear." He clenched his fists. "You think this makes you powerful?" "I do not think," she said. "I know." The line of customers stared silently. Some murmured quietly. Some leaned closer to see the screen. The man's voice rose. "You're one of those people, always thinking you're in charge. Always trying to manipulate. You're—" "Enough," Nia interrupted. Her tone was soft, but it cut through him like a knife. The red alert blinked again. Multiple discrepancies. Patterns repeating. Corporate escalation active. Security notified. The man's smirk cracked. You're lying. You can't. This is impossible." Nia shook her head slightly. I'm not lying. The numbers don't lie. And corporate will handle this appropriately. You will be held accountable for your actions. He took a step back, fists lowering slightly. His arrogance faltered. Customers whispered, murmuring among themselves. Mark exhaled audibly. She's right. Everything is documented. The man's eyes darted around. He muttered under his breath. This isn't over. It is over, Nia said. Come, boys. Every word precise. The patterns don't lie. And now so will corporate. He stormed toward the door. His footsteps heavy, frustrated. Nia watched him go, calm, controlled, her chest rising and falling steadily. The red alert continued blinking on the register. Patterns documented. Discrepancies logged. Internal review ongoing. The tension remained thick in the air. Customers and employees glanced at her with quiet awe. Mark whispered, almost in disbelief, You really are the senior accountant? Nia nodded. Yes. And everything has been properly documented. The man doesn't know it yet. But very soon everyone will. And when corporate, security, and internal audit converge, the truth will no longer be hidden. The store remains tense. The psychological pressure palpable. The consequences are now unavoidable. And Nia, calm and controlled, watches it all unfold. Corporate escalation continues. Internal review is active. Patterns do not lie. Justice is imminent. The store is quiet now. The red alerts have stopped blinking. Corporate escalation has concluded. Security has reviewed every transaction. Audit logs confirm every discrepancy. Nia stands behind the counter. Come, boys. She watches the empty aisles. The customers who stayed linger with subtle nods, whispers of quiet admiration. Mark approaches, his tie slightly crooked, hands folded nervously. It's over, he says. Yes, Nia replies softly. It's over. The man? Gone. The threat removed. The exposure complete. The receipts, the numbers, the evidence, they spoke louder than his arrogance ever could. She allows herself a small breath. Not relief. Not celebration. Just acknowledgement. She's still standing. A young clerk walks up hesitantly. Nia. I didn't know you were the accountant. I'm sorry for doubting you. She smiles slightly. It's not your fault. People rarely know until the numbers tell the story. Mark clears his throat. Corporate called. They're impressed. They want to ensure this doesn't happen again. Policy changes. Training updates. And they're acknowledging your role here. You handled this professionally and flawlessly. Nia nods. Come. Quiet pride but tempered. She knows the victory is bittersweet. The trauma of repeated disrespect, the weight of bias, the pressure of constant surveillance, it doesn't vanish overnight. A customer from earlier approaches. I want to say thank you. For standing up, for showing the truth. Nia nods politely. Thank you. It's about fairness. Everyone deserves that. Mark whispers almost to himself, I never imagined someone could handle all that and stay composed. She smiles faintly. Numbers don't lie. People do. But evidence doesn't care about prejudice. That's the power we have. The aisles are quiet now. The threat has vanished. But the lessons remain. The quiet strength. The authority of truth. She thinks of her father. Let the numbers speak. She followed that wisdom, every day, every shift, every challenge. And today it mattered. The man's name? Not forgotten. Corporate has it. Security has it. Audit has it. Patterns documented. Evidence preserved. Accountability enforced. Nia turns back to the register. Fingers hover lightly. Come. Steady. The store hums around her, unaware of the invisible victory that just occurred. She thinks briefly of all the microaggressions, the subtle disrespect, the whispered assumptions. The system corrected them. The truth exposed them. She allows herself a small smile. Not gloating. Not triumphal. Just acknowledgement. She's still standing. And while justice doesn't erase the emotional cost, it ensures the story is seen, felt, understood. Mark watches her. You're incredible, he says softly. I'm just doing my job, Nia replies. Yes, Mark says. But your job, today, it meant more than most of us realize. The sun shifts outside the store windows. Light spills across the aisles. Come. Peaceful. Stillness after tension. Nia breathes in slowly. Orders the next item, scans the groceries, continues her work. Come. Controlled. Boys. The story is over. The consequences settled. But the memory remains. Bias challenged. Authority exposed. The system validated. Justice quietly served. And Nia Carter? She remains steady, calm, resilient. Still standing.